Good afternoon, year one. I hope you've had a lovely day and welcome to your last lesson of the week, PSHE. So let's begin with some questions. I'm just checking questions. So the question from last week is a true or false. We have to stretch our thinking skills to learn new things. True or false? That is true. We do have to stretch our thinking skills to learn new things. We're stretching what we already know and challenging ourselves, and that is how we get the best learning and the best new skills. Last unit question, another true or false. It's okay to like different things to your friends. True or false? And again, it is true. And I'm sure if you think of some of your friends, you have a few differences in opinions and different things that you like, and that is perfectly fine and normal. Last term question, name one difference between you and a friend or family member. One difference. There's no right or wrong answer to this one really. Just find something that is different. It could be in the way you look, it could be things you like. Any difference at all between you and a friend or you and a family member. And then last year, if someone is playing with something you want, you should take it when they're not looking. Is that true or false? Definitely false. We don't want to snatch things away from people. We can use our words to ask them, can't we? Okay, today we are learning to identify obstacles and how to overcome them. Now, this isn't talking about obstacles like in PE. It's obstacles as in challenges, and we'll learn more about that as we go through the lesson. So, to be successful in this lesson, we need to be able to identify a time that we have found something difficult that kept going. Okay, then I can say how I feel when faced with obstacles. I can identify how to help others overcome obstacles. Really important to be able to do that as well. And I can identify how it feels to overcome obstacles. So some key vocabulary today. Challenge, first of all. I think we use this one quite a lot, don't we? So you'll probably know this one, but it means a difficult task or problem. Then obstacle means a thing that blocks the way. So it could be a physical thing that gets in your way, or it could be something emotionally in your head or in your something you're feeling that stops you from being able to do something, gets in your way. Then overcome means to succeed in dealing with a problem. So you overcome problems. You see an obstacle, you see a problem, and you find a way to get over it and to still achieve what you wanted to achieve. And then goal means something you want, which you need to work for, which we've mentioned lots of times. And this unit is all about dreams and goals. So it's a key word that we already know. And then achieve means to do something successfully. Okay, before we start the main part of the lesson, I'd like you to find somebody in your house and go and pay them a compliment. That means tell them something nice. So you might start it with, I like how you, or I like the way you, or thank you for, or you are good at. Okay, so all of those are sentence starters for a compliment, saying something nice to somebody. So go and do that now, pause the screen, and let's see how you get on. Okay, how did it make you feel to give a compliment? So I would imagine it was a bit like last week. It makes you feel really positive, really happy, really good and a bit warm and fuzzy inside. It's a really nice feeling to make someone else feel good about themselves. Now I want you to think about when somebody gives you a compliment, how does it make you feel to receive a compliment, for someone to give you a compliment? Pause here to have a think. Okay, so you might have used some similar words. Just like when you give a compliment, receiving a compliment can make you feel really happy and make you feel really loved and feel special. So giving and receiving compliments really help us to connect with each other. Okay, time for Calm Me time now. So as usual, you can choose whether you'd like to focus your attention on one of these calming pictures or if you'd like to close your eyes. And sit still with your feet on the ground, or you might have your legs crossed, and hands still on your lap or at your side. And then you can start your breathing. So a big, deep breath through your nose, in and out through your mouth. Inhaling, exhaling. And you can pause here if you'd like to carry on for a bit longer. And now, hopefully you're feeling calm and ready for learning. So today we're going to listen to a story about Paulie the penguin. Paulie was a penguin who lived in the snowy Antarctic. Antarctica is a very cold place at the bottom of the world. Did you know that penguins live there? Paulie had a very special partner called Marta, who he loved very much. Like all penguin couples, sometimes they spent a little while apart from each other. When they were old enough, the mummy penguins would lay an egg and leave it with the daddy penguins to hatch. The mummy penguins would march across the snowy land to reach the sea where they all had a rest and ate lots of fish. It's very hard work laying an egg, you know, so they deserved a holiday. When the mummy penguins came back, it would be time for the daddy penguins to have their holiday. It's very muddling, isn't it? Lots of holidays. Today's story is about Paulie's trip. Marta had just come back from the sea, so it was time for Paulie to join all the other daddy penguins for their holiday. Paulie waddled along the icy and snowy land. There was a long way to go, so it was going to take a few weeks to reach the sea. In the first week, there was a terrible snowstorm, and the wind blew so hard that Paulie and the other penguins had to stop walking and had to huddle together to keep warm. In the second week, there was icy rain that made it slippery to walk along, so the penguins had to step very carefully and slowly to stop themselves falling over. In the third week, they reached the place where the seals live. Seals don't think twice about gobbling up a penguin for a snack, so the penguins had to walk very quietly and quickly so they couldn't be caught. In the fourth week, there was bright sunshine. The snow started to melt and the ice broke apart, so it slowed down the penguins' journey. On the fifth week, the penguins could see the sea. They were nearly there. Paulie and the other daddy penguins were feeling very tired, but they just had to keep going. When one penguin fell behind the others, someone would nudge them along and give them encouragement to keep going. It was safer for the penguins to travel in a group. On the sixth week, they finally reached the sea. Paulie and the other penguins were so pleased. It had taken a long time and every day had been a struggle, but they had made it. Paulie dived into the sea and started to catch lots of fish to eat. He was very hungry. Paulie and the others stayed at the sea for a few weeks, and then it was time to make the long journey back. It's tough being a penguin, isn't it? Okay, so I want you to think about, firstly, what was the penguin's goal? What were they trying to achieve? So have a go at writing that down. What was the penguin's goal? Pause here to have a go. So the penguin's goal was to reach the sea and eat lots of fish, wasn't it? Well done if you got that one right. And what obstacles were there? So remember, if we go back to our definitions, The word obstacle means a thing that blocks the way. So what blocked the penguins from being able to get to the sea really quickly? What slowed them down? Pause here to write down all the things that you remember. That's what obstacles for the penguins. Okay, so they had lots of obstacles, didn't they? They had a snowstorm. They had icy rain that made it very slippery. They had seals in their way, and we know that seals like to eat penguins. They had to be very careful indeed. The ice broke apart, so they probably had to do lots of jumping over to get to the other pieces of ice. And they were feeling really tired, and that in itself can be an obstacle, stopping you from being able to do something. So how did they overcome these difficulties then? How did they manage to take that challenge and still make it to achieve their goal? What did they do that helped them overcome the difficulties? Pause here to have a think and write down. So they did something really important. They encouraged each other, didn't they? They helped them along. They gave them a nudge and said, you can do it, keep going. And also they showed perseverance. That means that they just kept going. Even though they had these obstacles, they had the mindset that they were just going to keep going because it would all be worth it in the end. Okay, and they felt so pleased, didn't they, when they achieved their goal, because they got to eat all their fish and have a lovely, relaxing holiday. So I want you to think about something you have found difficult but kept going anyway. And how did it feel to achieve your goal? So what have you done that has felt really hard, but you've thought, no, I'm going to do this, and you've done it, you've achieved your goal. And how did that feel? So I'd really like it if you could write those down, and then you can send them in to us, because it would be lovely to know what's something you're proud of that you've achieved, and something that really took a lot of effort to overcome obstacles to get there. And I'd also like you to think about how we can help each other when we find things difficult. Think about what those penguins did. Okay, they didn't say, oh no, I don't think you can do it, I'm going to leave you behind. They encouraged each other. So how can we help each other when we find things difficult? Okay, right, have a lovely weekend, everybody, and we'll see you again next week.